Good evening. Hi. We're back. This tonight it's going to be another The Mind of a Man. Topic for tonight is going to be how to find out if a man really wants a committed relationship. I know I'm starting a couple of minutes early. Just want to give a few of y'all give y'all some time to actually log in, connect. For the ones that are already connecting, thank you for connecting, and thank you for being part of the Mind of a Man. Now on our we're going on 2 months already. Next week it will be our 2-month anniversary already, and just to think about how I started this project a month ago, it's I saw it very challenging at the same time, because at the same time I wasn't sure what was going to be the perception, and was very surprised, very surprised that I had such a huge acceptance based on the idea of basically tearing down the veil of us, the way the man thinks. For some of y'all that if it's your first time joining and being part of the Mind of the Man talk series, the reason how all this started was because I could hear a lot of my female friends complain about men day in, day out. Some not to me directly, but indirectly. Some actually would ask me questions. And at the end of the day, I just really felt it in my heart to be a catalyst in the idea of changing this paradigm. I can't even talk tonight. The paradigm of what really meant, really just as I said it just now, tearing down the veil and really putting it out there and why men think the way they do, giving y'all, quite a bit of an insight, basically on why we do what we do, why we say what we say, and why we act how we act. So a little bit of background about me. Again, if this is your first time joining, or if you've been part of it and you've really have not caught on. My name is Enrique Palomino Hidalgo. I know that's a mouthful, but I am Mexican, so I do have 2 names and two last names. Thank you, Mom and Dad. My background in this, it's very simple. I speak from the idea and the mentality that first and foremost, I am a man. Second of all, I've gone through many situations in by which I can speak out of either experience because I lived it, or I have friends from all levels of society, and I've seen firsthand of what they go through. And of course, us men, we talk. So there's a lot of information that we all share within each other as the years go, and the different phases that we all live. One thing I've said from the beginning is that all men are equal. We do think alike. We do act, say, and speak in the same manner. The only difference is that we all are in different phases of our lives, different seasons, and so that's really what makes us different. Other than that, we're basically the same. We're all the same. Our objective is to find the one. Some of us do it in a manner where I've given an analogy in the past of being a hunter, but I was actually talking to my mentor that's really has helped me open up my mindset, my maturity level to where I can freely speak to you all about this whole situation. And he actually gave me this other analogy. As far as men we're more like fishermen. We're the fishers out there. And the reason why I say we're more like fishers, because you have two different types of fishermen out there. You have your game fishers and your fishers that are just fishing to actually survive. The fishers that are out there to survive, they catch the fish, they keep the fish. Why? Because they need to survive. Then there's the game fishers, the ones that are just catch the fish, unhook it, and send it back out. So the way he said it, it just really opened up my mindset that women out there, you just gotta really understand what type of fish are you wanting to be. Are you wanting to be the one that to be caught and taken home, or are you just wanting to be that type of fish that are there for the game fishers, catch and release, basically. That's what they call it. So it's already past 9 p.m. So let's go ahead and start. We're gonna go ahead and start tonight's talk just a little bit different. Just a little while ago, I introduced myself again. My name is Enrique Palomino Hidalgo. This is the Mind of a Man. Tonight's topic is going to be how to find out if a man really wants to be in a committed relationship. There's some. As I was giving you a little bit of background on my background is basically, I'm a man. I've been groomed to be a man. I have brothers, my father, I have cousins, I have friends from all levels of society that we all go through the same situations. We just do it in different seasons. So do I have the experience? Heck yeah, I have plenty of experience to speak on these matters. Now, why do I do it? First and foremost, I do it to empower women, because the idea of, because I've been on both sides of the coin, the idea of seeing women really struggle to deal with these type of men that are out there just playing and damaging and hurting y'all. It really does touch my heart. Not only because first and foremost, I have a sister, my mother, but at the same time, I'm a father of two young ladies. Well, young ladies. They're 8 years old, but they act like they're 18. So it really touches home for me on this subject, and the idea of knowing that there's women out there that are really looking for that right person, that will complement their life and will really basically is who God is preparing for y'all to have. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about how to date, when to date, and the reason why this talk is more geared to those that are out there either ready to date, not sure to date, already dating, but it's still not sure how to go about it. This talk is for y'all. Now, if you're already married, or you're bound to be married, I mean, you're welcome to watch this. It all fits. It fits every phase, every situation. Now, I can't be held responsible for something that I say triggers something that it makes you wonder about your current relationship. Now, my responsibility here, my goal, my objective is just to tear down the veil, help you ladies understand why us men, we are the way we are. Plain simple. I've said it. I said it in the last talk. I'm saying it now. We are linear. We're not really not hard to understand. We just, but with time, we've built up these terms, these words to try and keep you off your game. Why? Because that's just who we are. Why? Because again, I've said it in that analogy. We are hunters by nature. We are fishermen by nature. So we're out there trying to catch. So it's just the idea of trying to really understand the right man for your life, and let God basically tell you in your spirit to lead you that direction, to tell you who is the right man for your life. And again, I'm not here to preach to you. I'm not here to give you a Bible study, nothing at all. All I'm doing is just basically tearing down this veil, giving you an insight on the mind of a man. So let's go ahead and start this talk for tonight. And again, thank you all for joining me tonight. And I'm not sure wherever part of the U.S., Mexico, anywhere that you're watching. Thank you for joining. I know it's a little bit of an odd time, but I know last week we had a bit of a unusual situation, but we're back. We're back doing it live here for y'all. So let's really drill down. Let's really drill down into this topic, and to understanding how to find that right man that really wants to be in a committed relationship with you. I know there's questions, because even us men, we go through those questions as well, but I'm sure you women go through these questions more often than we do. You ask, how serious is the man about you? Does he really want to be in a relationship with you? Because either we show signs that we might not be 100% sure, or you're seeing something, or we're saying something. So to me, those are the crucial questions that you really got to ask yourself. Does this individual really want to be in a relationship with me? Because there's situations out there, ladies, that again, we're smart in the way where we now understand how to approach y'all and get what we want based on what you give us. So let's kind of drill down and really find out why what I'm trying to. The way I'm trying to explain. I'm going to explain this in a sense where just my spirit is trying to tell me something different. And I had in my mind, I had a specific way of wanting to talk to you, but something's telling me not to go that route, to actually go speak in another matter. So, let's start from the beginning. If you're a lady that's currently out there in the dating pool, you're out there, you decided to go out there and start dating. You start meeting these people. You starting meeting men. You starting asking questions. Some of them you're not 100% sure, but you're still kind of wanting to give them an opportunity. Maybe you're the type of woman that doesn't want to give them an opportunity. It's really up to you whatever category you fit in. Let's talk about those. Let's talk about the women that are already dating someone. Here's a good insight. Here's a good insight that this individual is serious about you. And then I'll kind of go in why I'm saying what I'm saying. Great insight for you ladies that are already dating someone. Let's say that you've been dating this individual, I don't know, 6 months. So if you've been dating this individual for 6 months, and for man, something else is telling me. Okay, so here we go. So the insight on how a man introduces you is going to give you better insight on what this man's mentality is as far as how serious he is about you. Now, what do I say about this? Now, if, for instance, if you're out there with your man and your man introduces you as a friend, or calls you by your name with no title after it, other than just, hey, this is my friend, or hey, this is Lupita, this is Janie, this is, whatever your name, would be. If the individual only introduces you by name with no title or no title at all and just introduces you as a friend, then let me tell you something. That right there should tell you you have nothing in that relationship. Why? Because us men, we're very protective of who we date, or basically who we take seriously. Me personally, and again, I use a lot of analogies. I will use a lot of analogies, and I'll use a lot of personal experiences. I know for a fact that I know in my past relationship, I did that a lot. As far as I would introduce my ex, and again, this is a very personal one-on-one. This is very interactive. I'm tearing down the veil. I am not one to hide or try to say stuff that is going to fit in. I'm going to say things that it's going to fit in, but it's fitting in based on the circumstances and the situation. So, why we say, because men, we're very protective. Now, what I was going to say is that when you're serious about somebody, you automatically will label that individual. Men, for us men, we will give you a label. We will give you a term of endearment, a word of endearment. Whether we call you my love, whether we call you our girlfriend, our significant other, we'll call you if you want to go a little bit more funny, our ball and chain. It's something of an endearment that is going to identify you based on, obviously, if it's something between y'all two, it's something that, you both will understand. But if the individual doesn't introduce you as something with his friends, with his family, with his acquaintances, wherever, I'm sorry to tell you, you have nothing. Nada. You got nothing. Why? Because us men, if we don't take you seriously, if we don't put a label on you, we're not taking you seriously. Now, even to those that are just now starting to date, I personally would say, this is so, we're starting to get to know each other, and just something to give a little bit more of an insight of who she is. That's what us men would do. We will find ways to actually fill those gaps in without just giving you this is so, and just leave it alone. So keep in mind, if after 6 months, this man still introducing you as my friend, or this is so and no title, or even if he doesn't even introduce you as a title, you might want to consider that relationship. Let me just tell you that right now. And again, the only reason why we do it is because we're very protective. We are going to mark our territory from the get-go. So if this man loves you, he's gonna profess it. He is not going to hide it. He is not going to only tell you directly. Obviously the one-on-one is a beautiful thing, but if this man really loves you, he's going to profess it no matter where he's at. Whether it's going to be through social media, whether it's going to be out in public, whether it's going to be wherever. If this man loves you, he's not going to have an issue professing it. Now, keep that in mind also. So, sooner or later, he's going to give you a title, regardless. If this man is really interested and he's really serious about you, he immediately. Us men, it doesn't take us that long to give you a title. It really doesn't. We already have it in our mind. From the first time, we already have a title for you. We're just waiting. The right moment to give you that title. We're trying to see where we're going with this. Now, again, why do we wait? We wait because if it's the right man, we're waiting because we want to make sure you'll have us step up to the plate. We're waiting to hear your expectations. So really, that's the reason why we don't give you a title right there and then. If we could, we give you a title right as soon as we sit down on the first date. But we're still trying to also find out. And this, again, I'm only mentioning the men that are serious about you. Now, The men that are not serious, the ones that are just playing around, they're not going to bother giving you a title. Yeah, do they have a title there? Yeah, but I'm sure it's not something that it's really going to be something that you're gonna want to hear, or he's gonna talk he's gonna talk about it with his boys. Yeah, and that's just that's just hard reality. That's just what we do. So so later on, again, I'm gonna continue moving towards those that are serious about you. We're gonna either call you our lady, our woman, our fiance, our wife, our baby mama, something of that extent. I know. I used to call my ex, several names, and even that, so even that, I would, I would continue talking, calling her that even in private, and out in public. So I'm sure women, your men, whoever you're dating or whoever you're in with, I'm sure y'all have some words of endearment. So, again, let me just remind you again one more time. After 6 months, and even before 6 month mark, this individual is not introducing you with a certain title. Really think about it. Really think about it. And that's just my opinion based on those that are already dating, not the ones that are just now dating, because obviously if you're just now starting to date, obviously you're not going to get a title right there and then, but if you're already been, seeing the same guy for more than 3 months and this individual still hasn't given you a title yet, that's something for you to kind of consider. So, ladies, you got to understand something. Us men, we already have a plan set in place. From the moment that we saw you, we already set up a master plan from that point. So when a man, and I said this last week, when a man comes up to you to talk, we're not there just to talk. Really, we're not. We're more, we already have a plan in action. Just the idea of us approaching you, that sets off our plan. Now, when we look at you, when we see you, and again, these moments now are a little bit more different because you can't just go up to somebody at the club. Maybe wherever you're at, right now, clubs, bars, are all closed. So that kind of eliminates that. So right now, what a lot of people are doing is all this through social media. So if you get these you get these messages, somebody slides into your DM and starts having some sort of a conversation with you, they're having a conversation based on what they saw on your profile pics or whatever pictures you're putting out there. So again, we are, as men, we adapt to the environment. We adapt to the situation. So, we might not be approaching you at a club. We might not be approaching you at a bar. We might not be approaching you at church. If there's, or at a restaurant or out in the public. Right now, the game is approach you through social media. I'm sure you ladies have had a lot of people, slide into your y'all's DM. So let me know about that. How does that make you feel? Tell me, how does that make you feel when that happens? So you can put it down in the comments, and I'll get to them after the live. So remember, we don't come up to you because we care about your hopes and dreams. We really don't. We don't care about what your future holds for you. All plain and simple, we just saw something that we liked. So whether it's in person or whether it's through social media, we're going to approach you based on what we saw and what we liked. So, us men, we already know what we want. The idea of us going to a date, approaching you, is because we already have in our mind, we already have a master plan. So we already know what we're going after. So, but the only insecurity that we have is that we don't know how much it's going to cost us. That's the $1 million question for us men, is that we don't know how much this it's going to cost us. So how much time are you going to want from me? What are your standards? What are your requirements? Because at the end of the day, ladies, if the right man approaches you, he's not going to have any problems rising up to your standards, to your expectations. The only problem is, ladies, is that you have stopped setting that bar high. And you may disagree with me, and that's completely acceptable. But really kind of evaluate and analyze what kind of man the type of man that approaches you, that slides into your DMs. How are they speaking to you? So again, for the right type of man, we have no problem rising up to your standards and to your expectations, because we saw something in you that we want, and we want to meet those expectations. The right type of man. The wrong type of man, when you start setting up that bar high enough, he's not going to want to, be interested. And here's how you're gonna know he's not gonna be interested. He's either going to, again, ghost you, which, by the way, I just found out about a month and a half ago what that term really means. For me, it's just a matter of saying ignoring. But anyways, to each his own. So they're going to call you out names. I don't know, gold digger. They're gonna call you annoying. They're gonna come up with so many excuses. Why? Because they don't want to deal with that anymore. They don't want to deal with the setting up. They don't want to meet your expectations, because to them it's too expensive for their own time. So why? Because that's not the mentality that they want to be in. That's the mentality that they're in, and they don't wanna go beyond that. Because to you, again, and I've said it a couple of times, their plan is to play with you, not to plan with you. So, I'm just looking over some of my notes that I was writing throughout the day. Us men, we really only need three things, and keep that in mind. And actually, as a future talk, I'm actually going to be speaking about the love language of men, so you understand that. But with regards to this situation, I can tell you that us men, we need three things. And that's going to be support, loyalty, and obviously sex. Or as many people will call it out there, just the cookie. So, we all like the cookie. Man, that's known. Well, every man is going to accept that we all like the cookie. We all want to get our hands into the cookie jar, but it depends on which cookie jar you're actually going to get yourself in. You might want to analyze this, men, not women. When we got honestly, speaking on the support, loyalty, and sex part of it, when we have your support, ladies, on whatever adventure we're out, this I'm gonna speak on a general term, whatever pursuit in life, we need your support. And again, we're gonna talk about love languages at a later time, but support, it's such an important thing to have from you, ladies. When it's the right man, we will ask for it. We're not going to give you hints. We're not going to kind of set some innuendos. No, we're going to tell you straight out. We're going to tell you, we need your support based on what we're wanting to accomplish. So, we also need your loyalty. I know right now, nowadays, the term loyalty is such an overused term, because there's different definitions on what people define loyalty on. You have relationships that define loyalty as, you're not going to cheat, you're not going to lie, you're always going to keep it 100. But to be honest with you, those are great definitions of what or expectations of loyalty. But there's loyalty based on not only that, but there's loyalty based on a spiritual level. There's loyalty on a financial level. There's loyalty on a parental level. I mean, there's so many levels as far as dimensions that you can pursue, that you really can drill down based on the loyalty level of it. So, because loyalty, ladies, that's really how you profess your love. That's and we got to know that you belong to us. That's basically how the right type of man is going to describe himself, is going to speak to you about it, because we understand that your loyalty is love. Your loyalty, obviously, you seek the same from us, but for us, loyalty is it's all in a general term. Why? Because we're the right man is going to protect you. It's going to give you protection. It's going to give you encouragement. It's going to give you. There's going to be so many other dimensions that the right man is going to cover to speak to your love languages. And again, we're talking love languages at a later date, but this kind of ties into what we're going to be transitioning at a later future date. So finally, I mean, we're going to talk about the sex part, the cookie. So everybody likes cookies, that's the thing about a cookie, as us men, I personally like chocolate chip cookies, so, but every once in a while I'll eat a macadamia, I'll still eat a cookie, but I'm talking about cookies now. But when it comes down to the sex part, I mean, obviously we're men. We have sexual desires, as you ladies as well. For the right type of man, we're only going to need one woman in our lives. We don't have to have many women to seek that love. Again, I want to really drill it down on that perspective, on that point. But that alone will take us the entire hour, basically. And I really don't want to. I want to continue moving forward. But let me just put it out there for you ladies that for us men, yes, sex is important. Yes, we do crave it, we do desire it. But here's the thing: the right type of man is only going to feel love and is going to give you love when it's the right to one woman. We don't have to seek it out there, because we know what we have at home. So, and maybe I will bring a talk on that at a later date, but let's just kind of play it out for now. So, again, we're, like I was telling you, us men, we're like fishermen. We are fishermen, but in reality, women, from what I hear you read, is that you're always out there looking for the right catch, the right type of man, and here's the thing: in reality, the only way you're going to find one is when you up your standards, and that's really what my encouragement is to you, is to just raise up your standards. I was mentioning just a little while ago, through the conversation I had with my mentor, he mentioned, the idea of you got your sport fishermen, and you got guys out there that are fishing just to eat. You got guys that are fishing to keep the fish. Keeping that analogy in mind. There's fishermen that are out there just to catch the fish, and then you got guys that are just fishing to catch them, unhook them, and throw them out. Throw them back. Ladies, you really have to determine which along the way which type of fish you're wanting to be. If you ladies do not have an ironclad standards. Let's talk plural, because it shouldn't be just about one thing that you should have standard on. You should be standards on basically pretty much anything that you wanna in this man. If you don't have that kind of a ironclad standards, you're always going to be tossed back into the dating pool. That's why a lot of ladies may be going through one man, and you're dating somebody, and all of a sudden he did something that you didn't like, and then or he was just there to play with you for a little bit, and then just unhooked you and tossed you back into the dating pool. So now you're carrying something that from this past relationship, and it's kind of a revolving door. It's just a repetitive pattern. My recommendation, my advice to you all ladies is you just gotta quit lowering your standards. You really do. You really just hear me out on this. If you continue lowering your standards, I said it last time, if whatever it is that you're getting, expecting, is whatever it is that you're going to be getting. So you continue lowering your standards. Well, don't be surprised that you're going to continue getting these lower tier kind of guys that are going to continue approaching you. Why? Because your standards, your fence is such in a low level that these guys are just easily jumping over the fence and playing in the grass. That's all it is, because you're allowing it. So if you're, go ahead and set your requirements up front. I said it last week. The more questions you ask at the very beginning, it's okay. I know people sometimes ask, well, why do you want to ask so many questions? Well, it's you got to look at it as an investment. Do you really want to invest a certain amount of time on an individual that may not have what your spirit really feels, an attachment and a true connection with them? Do you really want to invest that time when your intuition, which is, by the way, ladies, that is the one thing that God gave you, is your God-given intuition. You know whether this man is the right man for you or not. So if you require everything up front, when you set that requirement, and us guys, we hook you. We know for us now. We know this is business. This is we're not going to be playing around, because you're already being upfront about what you want. So it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to take you, or we're going to just dump you. That's just another thing, ladies. Stop letting the man pace the relationship. You just got to stop allowing us to set the pace. You're the ones, and I said it to a friend of mine not too long ago. I said, you ladies are the ones that have the total control of this whole entire scenario. You control everything from day one. You really do, because you do have that power, that much power over us. Because again, I said it, the only reason why we get up in the mornings is because of y'all. If we're married, we get up because of our wives. If we're dating someone, we're getting up because of whoever we're dating. If we're single, we get up to try and go and find that right person, that right woman that that God has for us. So, and I know the term, go out there and look for it. There's a lot of people that might say, well, why are you going to go look for it? Won't you just let God bring it to your life? Yeah, He's going to bring it to your life. But you also have to put a little bit of your effort. You can't just be sitting down in the couch, twiddling your fingers, watching, TV, and expect for the right man, for the man of your life to actually fall in your place. You never know when you're gonna find it. Never know. The idea is that you don't have to focus entirely on it. Use the idea of living your life and let it happen. The universe will allow it to happen in its in divine time. And again, we can talk about that at a later date. So, ladies, if you really want a man to be with you, you gotta be straight up and forward, and you just gotta let them know, if you want to be with me, this is what you got to do. This is what it's going to take to get me. There was an analogy that not too long ago, and actually I kind of used it last time in one of my other talks, where speaking about dating in the dating sense, when you go work, put yourself in this position, ladies. when you go, and this is how you also going to really adapt this to understand if this man is really committed to having a serious relationship with you. Now, this is going to be to the ladies that are just now starting to date, or already kind of in that sense. When you do, I've worked for corporate America. I've worked, for different styles of. I've worked in the legal industry. I've worked in the medical industry. I've worked for. Let's just say that I've worked for quite a bit of few employers during my stint in my young and adult life. So every employer that I've worked for, they give you a probational period. Some give you 30 days, some give you 60 days. Typically, it's going to be a 90-day rule. But before they give you all the benefits, all the rights, they give you the keys to the kingdom, basically, just to speak on. You have to go through this probational period. Why? Because you have to have. They want to know whether or not you're going to work out for them. That there's compatibility between you and the employer. So, if after 90 days, they keep you, well, guess what? You have insurance. You have medical insurance to go get yourself checked. You got dental to go get your teeth cleaned, your eyes checked. You basically get this full-blown package deal. Now, ladies, this is something that I do encourage a lot of my clients when I do talk, and I give them these empowerment tools, especially for ladies that are kind of in a trench and need that flip that switch. I tell them simply, take it as it is. Take it as an investment. Again, you're investing. You're going to invest time. You're going to invest emotions. You're going to invest feelings on an individual. Again, you have two types of men. You're going to have the men that are going to plan with you. You're going to have the men that are going to play with you. If you set standards from the get-go and you raise those standards, tell us to wait. The right type of man is going to wait. The right type of man is going to do what you're letting us expect to do. What do I mean about this? Simply do the 90-day. Do it in a 90-day phase. The right individual is going to stick around. The right individual is not going to pressure you into anything. This is how you're going to weed out the right from the wrong. The right person is not going to pressure you into anything. They're going to encourage you and going to empower you to continue moving forward. And that alone, when you separate when you set the cookie apart and hold it for that 90-day rule, you really are going to see more about this individual on his level of maturity. If they're interested, they're going to wait and they're going to stick around, and you're really going to know this individual more in depth. If they're not the right type of man, guess what's going to happen? They're going to walk away. They're going to ghost you. They're going to ignore your calls. They're not going to come around as often. Why? Because they're not interested in 90 days. They want to hit it and quit it and move on. So, all right. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and give you, ladies, if you have pen and paper, I'm going to give you 5 questions. I'm going to give you 5 questions that you can ask. You can ask any man at the beginning of a dating relationship, or even that. Ask them now if you're still early on the in the dating phase. Ask them these questions. It'll give you a better understanding about this individual and see what their train of thought is. So, first question I'm gonna give you, and it's going to be. Sometimes I can't even understand my own handwriting. All right, so here's the 5 questions that you're gonna want to ask. First question is gonna be: before you get too serious, ask him. Because again, once you get too serious, by now a man has already taken over, dictated how the relationship is going to go, told you how he expects everything to be done. And so you got to understand that this has to be done before this. So, all right. So that way you know whether he's going to be a keeper or whether he's going to be a player. So here we go. What you want to do is ask him, what are your short-term goals? Because, at the end of the day, that's important. You want to know, what this guy's working on. You have to listen very intently, because short-term goals are going to define what he immediately is interested in and what he's immediately working in. Whether he is climbing that corporate ladder, whether he is whether he's in ministry, whether he is a volunteer, anything that is going to catch your attention. You got to keep an ear open to find out exactly what his short-term goals. Now, also ask him, ask him, what are your long-term goals? And what I mean about that is that, again, us men, we have a plan. We all have to have a plan. No matter what stage in life we're in, we all have to have a plan, but they has to be different from your short-term goals, so really keep an ear on this. Listen to the red flags, listen to how he's expressing himself. Short-term goals, long-term goals have to be different. They cannot be the same. Why? Because if they sound the same, then this man is really not planning anything. He's just kind of answering your questions because you caught him off guard. You really did. And if you caught him off guard, that kind of tells you that this man is not ready, is not prepared, and all he wasn't expecting. He's just not ready. He's not the type of man. So, The reason why I want you to emphasize more on the long-term goal is because with the long-term goal, it's going to make you decide whether or not you want to attach yourself to this idea, to this long-term goal, and really plan a future with this individual. Because obviously you got to understand what his long-term goals are, and whether or not they're going to be come out to benefit a bright future. So. Ask him after that, what are their views on relationships? What are his views on relationships? And I'm not talking about a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a dating relationship. I'm talking about more about family, friends, God. Find out really how strong those bonds are in his life. If this individual doesn't call his mom at least once a day, that alone tells you what kind of relationship he has with his mother. The way he expresses about his siblings, the way he expresses about work, and overall, the way he expresses about God, church, you're really gonna have to get a better, clear understanding on what this individual is all about. So, a man's relationship is going to, again, it's going to, with his mom, is the most critical, because that's really going to tell you how he treats his mother is going to kind of give you a better understanding of how he's going to foreseeably treat you in the future. So if the relationship is non-existent, then that automatically should be a red flag. Obviously, if the individual, that should be a red flag if the individual still has if his mom's still alive. Now, if they're not alive, obviously that's a completely separate scenario, but that's still, how he might express some sort of the past relationship. If it was a non-existent relationship, that kind of tells you exactly, that should also raise a red flag. So if the relationship has been tainted, broken, know that he's not going to have a problem tainting or breaking yours. So at the end of the day, if he's not able to love his mom, sister, daughters, any female embodiment near to his, in his immediate family, then understand he's not going to find that love for you. So, ladies, if you're in that pathway where you're a spiritual woman and he's not, I've spoken about this several times. And again, most of these terms, most of these scenarios or, ideas or that I'm putting out there can be brought into separate talks. And, and obviously that will be my intention. So, I know there's ladies out there that have taken their boyfriends or their significant others, or and again, I'm only focusing on the people, on the ladies that are just now dating, or they're trying to, they're in that spiritual path and they believe that, the man that they're dating, if they bring him to church, that's all automatically going to change him, or, and that's not going to be the case. Let me tell you that right now. For us, there's no, for us men, and for those men that are out there that really don't care about church, no cookie in the world is going to make them go to church. They're just going to go find themselves another cookie, and then, that'll be that. Let God change them. All you can do is just pray. That's it. That's all you need to do is just pray and leave it in God's hands, and that's it. If that's really the type of, if that's really the man that you feel should be for you, all you got to do is just pray and put it in God's hands. And if it's in God's will that man should be in your life, he'll make it happen. If it's not, no big deal. Let him go and that, move on. So, but if he is the one that, but if you could, but just be ready though. Don't, when you call on God and you want something really, really bad, just be ready. Again, so that's, so next question would be, now you're going to go a little more deep. Ask him, what do you think about me? Ask him that, and really listen to this answer about, when you ask him this, because it's going to reveal what kind of impression you're making on that individual, on that man. So, we're not going to hesitate. We're not going to hesitate on telling you what exactly we think. We'll gladly tell you right there and then. And we can tell you what really comes out of our heart and what really you're projecting to us. We'll be happy to tell you that right there and then. So, last question to ask will be, what do you feel about me? The reason why I wanted to leave that last question as the last one, he's gonna and know that feeling and thinking are two different things, and if he's the right man for you, his way of feeling towards you is going to be will show, because if he's serious about you, he's going to open up. He's going to be what I've called the idea of be bare naked. He's going to show his true emotions, his true feelings towards you, and they will be different from what he thinks, because I can think of you in a certain way, but how you make me feel is going to be completely different, because thinking and feeling, even though we have to have them connected to be able to project it from the heart, the thinking way has to make sense to be able to project that feeling. And again, it's not going to be the same thing. Anyways, so he definitely if it's the right man, he definitely will tell you how he feels. He's going to say whether you are the love of my life, you are someone that I can never be without, you are someone that I miss, I want to be with, I can't be without you, that someone that I'm going to share my hopes and dreams with. He's going to profess what he feels, not what he thinks, but what he feels of how you're making him feel. So, ladies, really, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, the simplest advice that I can give you when you're out there dating is that just allow God to speak to your spirit and really, really discern. I mean, there's too many men out there that are not, there for the right reason. Unfortunately, and I'm sorry that you ladies, have gone through situations that may not have been the best for you. I know I've been on both sides of the coin, and I've taken my licks and I've taken my responsibilities. And I think, and that is one of the reasons why now I am in a position where I've matured to a level to where I am very open to speak about situations and how would be the best way to solve them and to look at them in a more productive and positive manner. What I can tell you, ladies, is whenever you meet a man and you're interested in dating this man, follow the 90-day rule. I guarantee you that it's going to, it will help you. It really will. I know that I know it does because it happened to me in my past relationship. I will tell you, it took more than, it took that much, to get into that, to that next phase in the relationship. So trust me, it works. It really does. Why? Because it just shows how the sincerity and the security and the level of value that you put into that next level of, that next phase in your relationship. You can't just go out there and give it up on the first night. You gotta raise up that level of standard. Really, you really do. One of the things that I told a friend of mine, and I got it from my mentor, and I told her, I was like, you got to let a man see what he can get, but make him imagine what he can have. He told me this. I mean, wise man. I've been to many of his talks, conferences, and I've been privileged that I've been able to sit with him and actually ask him several questions. And that's the best, one of the best things that he has told, and I do agree with it, is that you ladies need to let us see what we can have, see what we can get, but you gotta make us imagine what we can have. Plain and simple. So before we go for tonight, before I end this talk tonight, let me give you one more piece of advice. If you really want to really understand, aside from the 5 questions that I just gave you, I'm going to give you this question that is really going to wrap those 5 questions. Obviously, I want you to ask those 5 questions, but ask this one question alone, and it will give you such an insight depth. Because if the right man will answer it, the wrong man will give you the runaround, will give you short-term responses where, it will give you red flags of why this is not going to work. And be honest with you, I think this is going to have to be a part 2. I think I'm going to continue this talk next week to finalize this 4-week series because there's so much more information that I can share with you, and I don't feel like I'm giving giving you everything that you should at least know. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into a part 2 series. This is going to be part 1. Obviously, we're almost out of time, but I will put this in a 2-part series next week. I will continue with the second series, with the second part to understand these questions. But I will tell you this. Well, I will share that question with you all next week. I will share that, just to put in practice, 90-day rule, 5 questions. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to raise your standards. It's okay to be upfront from the get-go. Do not let anyone else tell you otherwise. It's okay, ladies. This is your life. This is what you want. This is who you're approaching. Ask God to give you the wisdom to continue moving forward. So next week, we're going to continue this talk. Obviously, I did not anticipate for this talk to run this long, and I have so much more information that I can share with y'all, and I really feel it in my spirit to continue sharing it. So next week we're gonna do a 2-part series now. So I hope that you all can join me next week again, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I have really enjoyed it. I have really enjoyed being part of this this talk tonight. I think there's going to be a lot more information that you ladies are going to enjoy. So tonight, again, it's just been amazing. I just want to thank every single one of y'all that took the opportunity, the time to be here tonight. I know it's a Wednesday night. You could have been somewhere else. You could be already asleep, getting ready for your work day tomorrow. But if you stuck around, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I can't wait to see y'all again next Wednesday here at the Mind of the Man. And be ready. Be ready. I think it's gonna be an amazing time. And y'all have a good night. God bless y'all. Take care of each other. Love each other. Protect each other. At the end of the day, we have God to extend His hand over us, to protect us, guide us, and love us. Pray for each other as I'm praying for y'all. And if I don't see y'all here in the present, I will see you in the eternity. God bless y'all. Talk to y'all soon. And I will catch you again next Wednesday, part 2, The Mind of a Man. Good night.